Hello, welcome to Local Enterprise Office Donegal's TOV training session. We're looking at the application form today. If you attend the TOV session, you'll receive a link to the application form, and this is what you will see when you log in. So if you scroll down here, you can see details about the application and the criteria. And then over here on the right-hand side, you can click on the apply button. So once you click on the apply button, the window will open up, and what you have on your right hand side here is a list of all the questions. You can move between questions, and at any point in time down here on the bottom right hand side, you can save and quit. When you completed the application, you can submit. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the application form, and you'll see down here at the bottom that there are 35 questions. You can use the back key or the forward key to move between them. The first question you will land on is in relation to the NACE codes. If you're not too sure about the NACE codes, click on the link. It'll open up a new window and you'll have a description of the NACE code. So the NACE code is what you have when you register your business, and it classifies the type of business you have. So back to the application form, you choose the options. I'm just going to confirm that my business is eligible for funding. Hit next. You also have to attend a TOV session. So on the TOV session, you make sure that you click yes, and then enter the date. Make sure and enter in the details of the TOV workshop that you attended. Hit next. Enter here how you heard about the TOV, if it was from a newsletter or radio or whatever in relation to it. Click on next. Enter in your own name, your company name in the next section. And then you need to include your company address. Make sure you include your AIR code to identify your location. Please note this is a required question, so you do need to complete it. As I say, at any point in time, you can move up and down between the questions, and you can save and quit, and that'll create a draft. Enter in your telephone number. Again, it's a required question. And your website address if you have one. If you don't have a website address, just leave this blank. Choose the business type, so community, sole trader, individual. Enter in your CRO number. So your CRO number is something you get when you register a business name. You can purchase one off the cro.ie website, the company registration office. This is a required question. If you don't have a CRO number, you're advised to get one. Just for the purpose of the question, if you don't have one, type in 000. Enter in the year your business was established. So it's 1996. And how long the business has been trading. So just ensure that you're trading longer for 6 months. It's one of the eligibility criteria. Now, so the first question you need to describe is just in relation to your current online presence. So have you got a website? If you don't, just type in none. If you have a brochure website, and what we mean by brochure website is that it's not capable of e-commerce at this moment in time. So just type in brochure site. If you have an e-commerce website, just type in e-commerce. If it's Shopify, you can mention that it's Shopify if you know. So just to get an idea in terms of the type of website you currently have. Hit next. So here you need to provide a description of your business products and services. So ideally just provide a description of what it is you do, where you service in terms of location. Most people will have an about us on an existing website or on your social media. So it's that. Assume that the local enterprise office don't know anything about your business. So the more description you put in, the better it is. If you have received the TOV before, you need to take a note of it. So if you have received it over the last couple of years, make sure and click yes and enter in the details of when you received it, what you did with it, and the amount claimed in relation to it. So developed an e-commerce website, selling shoes online, date that you received it, and the amount. Okay, so obviously put in the complete detail of what you received before. If you haven't, you just click no and you'll skip on to the next question. Okay, so here you need to look at what your business objectives are for your trading online project. So what is it that you expect your business to get out of doing the work as part of this project? So for most people, it will provide you with an opportunity to sell online. So it'll be a new sales channel. It may be the case that it generates leads. It might be the case that it will handle customer services. So basically, if you tend to send a lot of emails or respond to a lot of queries about your product, if you have a website, it's much easier to point people to the website and they can get a lot of the information off it, such as dress sizes or clothes sizes, clothes colors. It should also make you more efficient. So if you are communicating a lot and repeating the same information with customers, if you have a website, that should answer all of those questions, free up your time and make you more efficient in relation to it. Now, obviously, at this point, you'll write a lot more than just 2 or 3 words. Just give a full description of what you think you're going to do as a result of this. Here you need to mark what your unique selling point of your product is. So basically, why do your customers buy of you as opposed to your competitors? So in this situation, it could be something simple as turnaround time. So if somebody needs a hard drive, can't afford to wait a couple of days for new offers, next day delivery, that could be a factor. It could be the range of products or services that you offer. So if I can buy everything off your website without having to go to 2 or 3 websites, well, that makes it much easier for me. It could be that you offer a bespoke product. So what you do might be specific and bespoke to the customer, and that's obviously a factor. And then obviously there's the cost element. So if price is a factor, if you're competitively priced, that's also a factor. So basically look at what it is that you offer versus your customer and put down here what it is or why your customers will buy off you. Okay, and then here you need to look at who your target market is going to be through the project. So what we've seen in the last couple of years is that there's a percentage of your existing customers who want to buy off you. So because we've all become I suppose much more accustomed to buying online, you will have a percentage of customers who look for your website and buy off your website. It could be the case that they'll get something delivered, or it could be that they do click and collect, or if you're a service-based business, they might do a course online rather than attend in person. So a percentage of existing customers who want to buy online. And then who is your market generally? Is it women over 40 in who buy clothing to go to the office or whatever in relation to it. So basically put down as much information here as you can about your customers. Now do bear in mind down here at the bottom right hand side, you can save and quit at any point in time. Just hit next. So here you need to have a look at the search engines for your competitors. So what we would expect to see here is 3 to 5 websites nationally, internationally, that are your competitors or offer the same product or service that you sell. So you're advised here to go out to Google and do a search for a key phrase. So if you're offering safety courses, that's what you search for rather than the actual company name. If you can't find any company and you know your competitors, obviously list them. For the purpose of the grant, make sure you write down the full address, website address of the company and list them here. As I said, 3 to 5 competitors. Here you need to state what the scope of work is that you want to get carried out. So what are the specific deliverables of the project? So basically, if you're getting a new e-commerce, so for some of you, it might be a brand new website. For some of you, you might be upgrading an existing. E-commerce website. Maybe you're moving to a new platform. You could be adding in new payment methods. Whatever it is that you're planning on doing in relation to it. You might also be getting photography. If you're thinking about getting photography, you should be thinking about video also at this stage. So you might be looking for a half-day photography or 50 products, whatever it is you're doing. Listed here just makes it as clear as possible. Some of you may be doing online marketing, in which case you need to give a bit more detail in relation to it. If you're going to be doing something like Facebook ads, and if you're going to do those yourselves, just outline them here in relation to it. So whatever it is you're planning on spending the money on, write it here. The internal resources that you're bringing to the project, you're going to be bringing your time, because somebody has to manage and coordinate with the web developer, photographer, online marketing company. So that'll be your time. You've got a knowledge of the market. So basically, you know what should be selling around September, you know what should be selling in January, you know what your customers like in terms of look and feel. So obviously a website for an engineering company is different than a website for somebody buying clothes for going to work in an office. So you have that knowledge, and that's something that you'll be bringing. You'll also be bringing money because it's a 50% grant. Some of you may have statistics. So you may have existing statistics, which is useful for developing or redeveloping a website, or for marketing, because it gives company an understanding of where people are coming to your website from. So obviously, write more than just one word. Give it as much information as possible. Assume that the local enterprise office don't know you. Your external resources. So what are you buying in? Could be web development company, marketing company. Okay, so whatever you're going to be buying in, just list that here. So the existing assets, so what you're thinking about here is, if you're developing a new website, if you're marketing a website, if you're redeveloping a website, what have you got that you can work with, or a web developer could work with? So logo. If you don't have a logo, it's advised that you get a logo developed as part of this grant. You may have existing images, photographs. Make sure that you have the copyright to use any images or any photographs that are used on your website. So be very clear about that. Text, you will need to have text if it's a brand new website. You can apply for copywriting, somebody who will write the content for your website as part of the grant if you don't have text. Otherwise, it'll be up to you to generate the text, or perhaps your web developer may offer to do that. You may have existing graphics. Again, just make sure you have the copyright to use them in relation to it. And then how will you potentially market yourself? So it could be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. So whatever social media you're planning on using in relation to promoting the business. So this is just an idea for you to get together your information, put it in one folder and see what you're missing, and that'll help you identify what you'll do as part of the grant application. Okay, so your expected outcomes in relation to it. So what sort of impact do you expect this to have on your business? So the sort of things that you would expect to see is an increase in turnover, particularly online. You may see an increase in revenue, an increase in employment. So what you'll find is that if you have a very active online business, be it the website, your social media, your newsletter, that may take a part-time person's time just to manage and sort that out and process orders, update the websites and such like. Other things it might help you export, because obviously when you create a website, you open your product or service up to a worldwide market, and export kind of works two ways. You can obviously ship products outside of the country, or you may sell outside of the country but ship the product within the country. So if you're, for example, a florist in Bundoran, and somebody in London wants to buy flowers for somebody down the road, they may come onto your website, buy a bunch of flowers, and technically that's exporting because you're selling outside of the country in relation to it. It may be a case of retaining and growing your customer base. So as I say, whatever you think is going to happen as a result of this, that's what you need to list here. And I mean, the more relevant to yourself, you'll know what's happened over the last couple of years, you know what your expectation is. So make sure and list that there and be as clear as possible in relation to it. Okay, so here you need to just put in your financials for your turnover for the last 12 months, full-time staff male, full-time staff female, part-time staff male, part-time staff female, and total number of staff. The grant does allow up to 10 employees. So employees can be made up of full-time or part-time. So if you have 8 part-time employees, that's classed as 4 full-time employees. Then what you project, so what you expect your income to be over the next 12 months, full-time male, full-time female, and part-time male, part-time female, and again in 24 months. Now, it could take you 6 months to bed down your project to get it up and running, so do factor in any increase in turnover you expect in the next 12 months and in the next 24 months. And likewise with staff numbers, make sure you factor that in down here in relation to what you expect to see in terms of change. Hit next. Here you need to just tick what it is you're planning on doing. So if it's a new e-commerce website, if it's copywriting, if it's search engine optimization, so just tick whatever boxes are relevant to the proposed project you're going to do. Here you need to state who it is you're going with. So you do know that you're obliged to attempt to get 3 quotes for each element of the work. What you then do is you choose who it is that you want to go to for each element of the work. So in this case, if you're going to get an e-commerce website developed, who's going to do it? So you put in your preferred supplier here and how much are you going to spend. Supplier 2, maybe online marketing limited, and how much you're going to spend. Now, because I'm spending 5,000, there's no point in putting in any other information here because you've reached the sort of max spend on the grant. But obviously, if you want to, you can put it in. If this figure here was 1,500 and you're going to do Facebook advertising, put that in there. And it's Facebook. Now you can't get 3 quotes from Facebook if you're going to do the work yourself on Facebook. So you just put in an estimate in relation to it. So it might be 500. Okay. So you enter in that information. So these are your preferred suppliers, the people that are going to do the work, and you'll have already gotten your quotes back and you've made a decision. If you are getting any other quotes for any other element of work not included above, enter those here. Hit next. Now, so how much do you expect to spend in total? So we expect to spend 5,000 based on the figures I've put in already. How much do you expect to get back from the grant? So half that is 2,500. So that's the maximum grant amount that's available to you. Okay, so if you have any other information that you want to add in at this point in time, just type it in here and that'll be included. And then here you need to upload your tax clearance certificate. So if you are a registered business or if you're a business, you'll be using ross.ie. So you go to the revenues website, which is ross.ie. You can download a PDF of your tax clearance certificate and you'll have it saved in your local hard drive and you can just upload it here. Here you need to upload all the quotes you'll have received from your supplier. So if you're getting an e-commerce website developed, you'll have sent out an email to at least 3 companies. Hopefully you'll have gotten 3 quotes back and you've made a decision based on those quotes. So you need to upload all 3 quotes that you received back. If you didn't receive 3 quotes back, you need to upload the quotes you did receive back, and you need to upload the email that you sent out requesting the 3rd quote. So there should be a minimum of 3 documents here that you're uploading at this point in time. If you're getting quotes for e-commerce, so 3 quotes for e-commerce website, 3 quotes for photographers, 3 quotes for online marketing, well then you'd expect to see 9 documents being uploaded here. So it's just important that you're 100% clear that you need to attempt to get 3 quotes. Hopefully you get 3 quotes back for each element. You upload the quotes here, all of the quotes. Here then, just from a GDPR perspective, you just confirm that you agree and hit next. Have you received funding before? So if you've received money from the EU in the last 3 years, you need to list it. So it comes in through, say, for example, if you got the TOV before 2 years ago, you'll need to list that. Okay, if you got any other funding, say like a feasibility grant from your local enterprise office, you need to list it. So it's the sort of thing that you put in as the TOV, for example, when you received it, maybe 2022, how much you received, and the details of it. If you got a feasibility grant, when did you receive it, and how much was it? Okay, it's just the de minimis rule in relation to it. It's up to 200,000, so it's unlikely that anybody would cross over that amount. But just make sure if you have received funding in the last 3 years, you need to list them here and the details of it. Hit next. And the last thing to do is just actually sign your name in relation to it. Okay, so basically at this point in time, if you have filled out all the questions, if you've uploaded all the documents required, then what you do is you click on the submit button. Do not submit unless all elements of the form has been filled out, all documents have been uploaded. If you're not completed, go down to save and quit. And what will happen is you will have a draft of your application form sitting here. And what you can then do is go back in and you can start editing it again at any point in time in the future. So you can skip back up through the questions here on the right hand side and enter in the details that you haven't completed. So I'm just going to save and quit, and that'll bring me out to draft. That's all you need to know. So thank you for your attention.